think it's loading. There we are. We are live. So I am here with Marissa Hoff again. She's gracious enough to join me again today to talk about the difference on Facebook, which we've talked about before, is not going anywhere. It's still around, whether you love it or hate it. It is a really important platform. We're going to talk about the difference between your personal page and a business page and where to kind of utilize the two of them, and maybe some myths that people that might be going around about about the two. So first, I want to introduce Marissa again. If you have not met her yet, she was named URSA's Women Who Inspire in 2019. She was the director of operations of Stevenson Fitness, which was a gigantic. She was a general manager, gigantic club in Southern California that was super successful. And her and Chris Stevenson have developed this consulting business that helps gyms and gym owners and really the industry continue to be the best in service. And Marissa has the most social media, I think, experience, or she at least researches so much that she does such a great job of that. And a newer endeavor they've taken on is they now have co-founded Be Military Fit California. And that is super interesting. All outdoor fitness training that is obviously military. So I'm excited to hear more about that in the future. But thank you, Marissa, so much for being here today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Very good service language. And then, so our first question that I have for you today is, what would you say are the biggest differences between a personal Facebook page and that business Facebook page?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit implied in the words, right? So personal profiles, and this applies to Instagram, by the way. So Facebook and Instagram are kind of a similar thing. Personal pages are meant for people to engage primarily with friends and family, although they may engage with brands as well. And as we know, about 2 years ago, Facebook really put an importance on engagement. So on personal profiles, it's interacting with your friends and family. Business, on the other hand, is intended to promote your brand, your business, whatever that might be. The difference, and we can go into that a little bit, is Facebook has given us so many tools to help us as a business that's really what it's intended to be. So personal versus business in summary.
That makes total sense. That keeps it pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, yeah.
Pretty simple. And then what are some misconceptions that you've heard that people have on a personal page versus business page, and how they kind of work together or don't work together? I've heard, for example, like rumor that, if you post only things on your business page, it's not going to actually get a lot of attention because it needs to be on your personal page. Or what are some, set the record straight on that?
Right. So in general, there is a lot of misconception and just not a lot of knowledge in regard to the algorithm, right? So the algorithm is something that Facebook developed to decide what you as an individual gets to see. So we know that there are millions, actually probably over 1 billion people on Facebook. So the algorithm is determining what you get to see. And for a while, you could see some of the posts that people would put up, but not all of them. We talk about organic reach versus paid reach. And really what it is Facebook decided 2 years ago that engagement was important. And so brands started to worry that they weren't going to have the same organic reach or the same reach as personal profiles. The truth is, we are all subject to that same algorithm, whether we are a brand or a personal profile. So people thought that they would trick Facebook by using their personal profile to promote their business. And in reality, we know that Facebook knows what you're doing. And most importantly, Facebook has terms of service, and it is very clearly stated that if you are using your personal profile to promote your business solely, they can shut you down at any time. And I've heard of that happening. So you have to be really, really careful. Of course, I promote my business all the time, whether I was running the club or the consulting company now, or when we start Be Military Fit, I will put that on my personal profile so that my friends and family can see that. But when I have those specific pages for those business that's dedicated solely to that. And we'll get a lot of great tools for that.
That is so funny that you even said like tried to trick Facebook. I think I
Facebook knows.
yeah, I remember in your latest session that you had at SCW, you were like, you can't trick them. They
No, I mean, we've talked about that, right? All of a sudden, if you and I start talking about a certain webcam that's going to make our Zoom meetings better, that webcam is going to appear in our feed. Now, they'll totally deny that, and maybe it's just a myth too, but they know everything about us. And so tricking Facebook is definitely not the way to go.
That is so funny. The other question I have is then what are the additional tools that one may have versus the other?
So we'll talk about, there's a number of things that we get as a business profile. So first and foremost, there's a professional image that comes with having a business page. If you look at even someone's Instagram personal account versus their business account, there's a lot more information like their address, what type of service that is. There's just a more of a, I'd say, a professionalism to it, right? So if you're a trainer starting your own business and you're using your personal profile to get clients, that's fine. But if we go to your business page, it's going to look like a business and make you seem more official and professional. And we want that. So that's one of the things. Secondly, we have insights, right? So if I want to know how well my posts are doing, I could possibly look at likes or comments, but with a business profile, you get some analytics that are amazing. As a matter of fact, it's almost overwhelming how many analytics you have. But even if you're going to start with just a few of the analytics, it's going to help you decide when is the best time to post, who's engaging with me. The other thing is you get to advertise. And I know some people are hesitant about advertising. They don't like the fact that you have to advertise, but it's fairly inexpensive. You can target people. So if I'm someone who is starting a postpartum mommy group to get back in shape, I can target other mommies in my area, right? You can't do that with a personal profile. Both with Instagram and Facebook, you have calls to action. So you've probably seen on pages or on the Instagram profiles that you can email someone directly, book now on Facebook. You can download if you had something really cool, like you put out an ebook on postpartum depression and how exercise helps. They could download that from your Facebook profile. So there's so many great calls to action that you have as a business that really help. Another thing about that is, the multi-user management. I had to look down at my notes.
Oh yeah.
So let's say
That's so true.
you assume like, it's just me. I'm just going to do this business for myself and I'm running my mommy group and I don't need anyone else in there. But you start getting busier and busier, and maybe you have one of your clients that is great on social. She can start doing some of your social media advertising. You just add her as a user on your account rather than sharing your password and link and all that stuff. You can, and some people might think I'll never need that, but you never know. Even if you're a small business, to have someone else helping you is just amazing. Also with a business profile, I'm looking, this is really something cool that I saw both with Instagram and with Facebook. You can use quick replies, right? So if like I'm a local boot camp, let's say, and people are DMing me to ask about, what's membership? What days are you open? You can have, when that comes in, you can do a quick shortcut that says pricing and it'll type this whole long thing out for you or automatically respond. And those are things that you're just not going to get with a personal profile. So there are a lot of really cool features. You and I talked about adding the tabs on the side of your Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a business, the other thing, especially if you're a brick and mortar, there are a lot of cool things like people can write reviews about you, right? So just like, people can recommend you, you can see what they have to say. And then there's other tabs on the side that might tell a little bit about different aspects of your business. And depending on what kind of business, if it's a podcast, maybe it's a link to the episodes, it could be notes. And then some really cool things that you and I had talked about is adding your class schedule. If you're a club, you can put that, and that takes a little HTML expertise, but you can put that as one of your customized tabs. And as we know, on a website, if you run a brick and mortar club, that's what people look at the most, your class schedule. So if you have that
Totally.
on Facebook, and it's something accessible right there, it's fantastic.
Totally. Yeah, it's huge. Those tools. I love that. And the same, it's just being strategic, being
Yeah.
able to actually act like a business. It
Exactly.
helps you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, there are, on Instagram, this is, they've been around probably not as long as, let's say, a Facebook, but longer than a TikTok. So they're in the middle, let's say, of the social media game. But almost everyone started with a personal profile, right? But now
Hmm.
people are switching, even like big Instagram experts. And I talked about this in the conference, like Sue
Hmm.
Zimmerman. She's an Instagram expert. She recently converted all of her personal over to the business profile. You can add a
Hmm.
link in stories that you wouldn't be able to do. And then, of course, if you're someone who's like selling any sort of retail or selling anything, there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up with Instagram and Facebook that enables people to shop. And
Hmm.
of course, those people that have 10,000 or more followers on Instagram have some really cool tools. A lot of us have a long ways to go to get there,
Yeah.
but they do roll them out. There's a
Hmm.
lot of changes. Reels just came out on Instagram, and if you're someone who is interested, there's some
Hmm.
really cool opportunities for people to find you on the Explore page. So they don't
Hmm.
even have to like you or follow you or be connected to you, and you can start putting stuff out, whether it's fitness related. That's a really cool opportunity.
Yeah. And you do such a good job of paying attention and researching what's coming out. But like you said, it's changing.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
so, that's one of the things about small business owners. And I was talking with a girlfriend of mine today because she's had to let go some of her staff, and so now she's running the club, overseeing Group X, doing all kinds of things, and she's like, I don't even have time to do all this social media stuff. And so what you
Hmm.
want to do is just pick some of the basic things. I have the time to research some of that stuff, but what you want to do is just pick best practices and stick to them. Canva is a great tool. She and I went through them.
Hmm.
The pro version allows you to resize things from Facebook to Instagram, your event covers versus your Facebook covers. So
Yeah.
those are all really cool things. Most small business owners just don't have time. But
Yeah.
if you're interested and you do have a little more time, there are a lot of uh,
Hmm.
really cool, like Social Media Marketing Examiner. They have, so I get updates from them. So when a change comes out, I know what's happening. Mari
Hmm.
Smith on Facebook is fantastic.
Hmm.
So she's the one, like, that's how I knew that they came out with that messenger rooms thing, that could be via
Yeah.
Zoom. So if you're
Yeah.
someone who's teaching via Zoom, you could have a Facebook group and then you could broadcast through Facebook and be able to see people. Remember when we were doing Facebook Live, it was
Hmm.
awesome, but as an instructor, you couldn't see the people in the room. So to me, Zoom was a better experience, but now Messenger Rooms came out, and so they're doing whatever they can to really take over the world.
Yeah. 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 So it's staying as much as possible attention to that. So I'll add some of those into the comments, guys, so you're aware of the Mary Smith and the Marie Smith.
Mari Smith.
MRI.
Yeah,
Perfect. I'll add her in there.
cool.
Canva. I've used Word Swag before too.
Mhm.
They've
Mhm.
easy tool to use.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the business page goes, what are some like must-haves that they should include in their business page? And then on the flip side of that, some things to avoid.
Okay. Well, one thing that I would definitely recommend, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, you want to completely optimize your profile, which means you put in, if you're doing Facebook, for instance, there's things like the about, your hours, your address, all of those fill in the blank kind of areas. You want to fill as much as you can out. Facebook, first of all, rewards you for being on Facebook. So the more time you spend as a business on Facebook, the more you'll be rewarded. So if you're going in, getting your profile done, same thing with Instagram, putting in, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who's had an Instagram page for his business for a long time, but he didn't have a category for his business. So people would look up the name of the business, but they didn't know what it did. For him, it was lucky that it's implied in the title, but those are little things that Facebook and Instagram will reward you if you completely fill all that out. The other thing I would say as a business is the more tools you use, the more you'll be rewarded with better reach. So if you're on Instagram, you're doing stories, you're going live, you're doing IGTV. When you're making a story, use as many little elements as possible, the stickers, the polls, whatever, because they want you to stay on the platform, right? So Facebook knows that the more time you spend on there, whether you're doing something for your page or you're scrolling through for personal reasons, the more they'll reward you by giving you increased engagement. So trying to use as many tools, and for Facebook, that means, going live, all that kind of stuff, because they will reward you for that. They're a business. The more time you spend on there, the more advertising dollars, all that stuff. So for sure, do everything that they have available to you. And then the don't for businesses, I'd say don't get caught up in trying to make the perfect post or the perfect caption, or there used to be, especially for Instagram, people would agonize. And I've watched my 20-year-old daughter and her friends agonize over like the casual laughter photo that they take like 30 times, just to get the perfect thing. And that's all fine and dandy, but more importantly, engage. So it's not about perfection. You're not a billboard. You go in there and you follow other people, you comment on their posts as a business, right? Oh, wow, I really love, like we were talking about the hike I posted. A business would follow me and say, wow, what a great hike. I love that you're out in nature. And continue to like your followers and other businesses and engage, because that's one of the things that Facebook and Instagram want you to do. They want you to engage. So you have to do that as a brand as well. So not to worry so much about getting everything perfect, just put stuff out there. And I'd say people ask all the time with Facebook, you want to do a minimum of 3 times a week. Less is not great. And don't do more than once a day, because you'll cannibalize your own posts. Instagram, same thing, probably every day is a good thing. Stories is where you can post like, here's what I'm having for lunch, and here's how I make this recipe, and here's what my dog looks like when he's asleep. All that stuff, put that on your stories. But focus on something important for the one post.
I love it. Such good advice. I'll try to recap the best I can, guys, in the comments. And if you have any other questions, feel free to comment. I'll shoot them over to Marissa. We'll continue to have the conversations. And thank you again, Marissa, for that great information.
I love talking social media.
Oh, I know. It's so good. It's like, 'cause I don't. That's why I'll ask the question.
Yeah,
and I'll try to learn.
It's a cool platform. I don't know anything about StreamYard, and you're doing a great job. So you got your specialty too.
I'm learning more and more. So, but guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you're on the YouTube channel, please subscribe and like this video so that you can, and even maybe click that what is it? Not click, it's like smash or destroy the notification bell, do whatever you want, but click that notification bell so that you can get notified when we go live again. And next Wednesday, I am interviewing Chris Stevenson, who actually just commented. He says hello, to talk about the 3, I actually can't even remember off the top of my head. We're talking about 3 really important things. Maybe I should ask Chris.
I don't remember either.
In the comments, put it in there, Chris. What are we talking about? I will advertise that everywhere after this, but he's amazing. You can even look back at the past video, which I do remember we did on policies and how to enforce those and help your team enforce those.
That's been wildly popular. People
good.
A lot of information out. I really appreciated that. So I'm sure the next one will be just as great.
Yes, yeah. So check it out. It's a mystery right now.
We'll find out.
Thank you so much again, Marissa, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.